For 1,000 years, lending money with interest was illegal, and that single rule shaped everything about how wealth moves today. Religious doctrine didn't just forbid usury out of moral purity, it created a structural problem. Money couldn't flow freely through economies. Lenders faced legal punishment. Borrowers faced spiritual condemnation. The system locked capital in place, but pressure builds in closed systems, and by the medieval period, that pressure was becoming visible. Exhibit 1: the church itself began carving exceptions. Monasteries lent at interest under different names: fees, compensations, penalties for delay. Language became the loophole. The rule remained on the books while the practice evolved in the shadows. Nobody had to openly defy the law, they just renamed it. Exhibit 2: Jewish merchants became the primary lenders across Europe. Since Christian doctrine prohibited them from owning land, they accumulated capital instead, and lending was one of the few paths open. They bore the legal and social risk that Christians avoided. The system outsourced the forbidden activity to a marginalized group. Exhibit 3: as commerce exploded in the Renaissance, entire banking families emerged, the Medici, the Fuggers, by operating in jurisdictions with looser usury laws. They didn't invent lending. They simply moved to places where the legal friction was lower. Geography became strategy. By the 17th and 18th centuries, usury laws were crumbling across the West. They didn't disappear through moral argument. They collapsed because the real economy, trade, industry, empire required cheap credit to function. Law followed necessity, not principle. What's crucial, the wealthy didn't wait for permission. They built workarounds, they migrated capital, they lobbied for exceptions. And when the legal framework finally shifted, it wasn't because ordinary people demanded it. It was because the system had already adapted around the old rules. The pattern repeats: a rule exists. Those with resources find the gap. The gap becomes a system. The system becomes the law. Today, interest rate regulation still exists, caps on payday loans, credit card rates, mortgage standards. And today, the same mechanism operates. Complexity, jurisdiction shopping, financial engineering. The names change, the structure doesn't. Usury laws didn't fail because they were wrong. They failed because capital always finds the path of least resistance. Understanding that feedback loop, how rules create incentives, how incentives create workarounds, how workarounds become the next system, that's how you see the financial architecture of today, not as inevitable, but as predictable. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Subscribe to see how these same patterns play out in modern tax law, offshore finance, and the rules the wealthy write for themselves. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research.